The scene opens with Harry, an American ex-military man who now works as a wrestling coach at a college. He decided to teach the students how to fight to keep himself busy, as a form of therapy he didn't know he needed. One night, Harry receives an unexpected call from Detective Jones, who informs him that his teenage daughter, Jane, is in the hospital in a coma after being attacked by her boyfriend. Shocked and devastated, Harry rushes to the hospital, where he finds Jane unconscious and the doctors struggling to stabilize her. Detective Jones soon arrives and tells Harry that Jane's boyfriend was arrested and confessed to the attack because she refused to be intimate with him. In a fit of rage, the boyfriend assaulted her, not realizing it would put her in a coma. With his blood boiling, Harry demands that Jones do everything possible to ensure the attacker receives the maximum punishment. Otherwise, he will take matters into his own hands. Shortly after, Jane passes away, and Harry is consumed by grief. Days later, Harry attends the trial for Jane's death. After a long process, Jane's boyfriend is sentenced to life in prison, which brings Harry some comfort, even though it doesn't bring Jane back. Trying to move on, Harry dedicates himself to training his favorite student, CIA, whose resemblance to Jane touches Harry's heart. CIA, in turn, faces problems at home with her stepfather, Tom, who is as affectionate as a cactus. After a fierce argument with Tom, CIA decides to leave home, and Harry, finding her alone at a bus stop, takes her to a restaurant and gives her some advice about the importance of family. As the Good Samaritan Harry believes himself to be, he promises to talk to Tom and help improve the situation at home. But when he confronts Tom, things get heated, and Harry ends up twisting Tom's arm, taking justice into his own hands. 2 days later, during practice, Harry notices that CIA seems happier, which relieves him. However, the relief is short-lived, as Tom, tired of being intimidated by Harry, decides to sell CIA into a human trafficking scheme run by Sergio, an associate of a mafia boss. After all, nothing says loving stepfather like selling your stepdaughter to criminals for a good sum of money. Tom, now acting like a villain in an action thriller movie, manages to trick CIA into getting into the car without suspecting anything. However, Harry soon receives a call from Detective Jones, informing him that CIA has been reported missing. And so, the wrestling training takes an unexpected turn, rescuing the girl and maybe twisting a few more arms along the way. By the way, did you know that the fight scenes in this movie were choreographed by a former military man to give more realism? Now, getting back to our dear Harry, if I were in his shoes, I wouldn't have tried to handle everything on my own. Confronting a man like Tom is one thing, but getting mixed up with the mafia is a whole different story. I definitely would have called the police before things got out of hand. But continuing with the movie, Jones explained that the report came from Linda, who was looking for her daughter, CIA. Upon hearing that CIA was missing, Harry ran to the campus to check the security cameras. Once there, he politely asked the guard to show him the footage from the previous day. And, like a good 90s action movie, there it was, CIA being taken away by Tom before disappearing. Suspecting that CIA's disappearance had to do with her stepfather, Harry decided to confront Tom. Even though he started politely, Tom was arrogant and refused to answer, which made Harry lose his patience and spring into action, attacking Tom until he confessed to handing CIA over to Sergio. Without thinking twice, Harry dragged Tom to the car and drove straight to Sergio's house. Meanwhile, Sergio was peacefully in his kitchen making juice when suddenly Harry burst in, throwing Tom through the door like a scene from a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie. Harry attacked Sergio without hesitation, demanding to know where CIA was. Under pressure, Sergio confessed that he had handed CIA over to Rich, a mafia boss who liked to auction off kidnapped girls at a casino hotel in Las Vegas. Furious about the cruel treatment given to CIA, Harry locked Sergio and Tom in a room and headed to Las Vegas, calling Detective Jones for help. Jones, of course, went to update Linda before heading to Las Vegas as well. Upon hearing the news, Linda insisted on going along, and Jones, against his better judgment, ended up agreeing. Arriving at the casino, Harry pretended to be one of the auction participants and was led to meet Dale, the hotel manager. Using a bit of theatrical skill, Harry convinced Dale that he and Sergio were great friends. With Dale thinking Harry was just a harmless gambler, he handed over the room key and explained the auction schedule. In his room, Harry called Jones, who had just arrived at the Las Vegas police station, asking the officers not to raid the hotel yet, as he hadn't found CIA. Police Chief Vanessa initially rejected the request, but after much persuasion, Harry managed to convince her that raiding too early would result in a game of hide-and-seek they didn't want to play. At 11 p.m., Harry entered the virtual auction room and, upon seeing CIA's photo, tried to place a bid. But, of course, a wealthy Arab appeared and placed a higher bid, forcing Harry to raise his bid until he lost the auction. Without wasting any time, he called Jones to start the operation while he himself searched for CIA and the other girls. Finding Dale again, Harry managed to discover that CIA was in a warehouse near the airport, Rich's headquarters. He informed Jones about the location and went straight there. Upon arrival, Harry, like a true action hero, lied that he was there to pick up CIA because he had won the auction. Martin, Rich's right-hand man, was suspicious, but Harry played the classic "I'm close friends with the boss" card, and Martin let him in, but with an escort. When CIA saw Harry, she accidentally called him coach, giving away the game. With no choice, Harry had to fight Martin's henchmen, and after a quick battle, he managed to take CIA and the other girls to an underground hideout. But the relief was short-lived, as Rich appeared and ordered Martin to take all the girls back while he confronted Harry. Armed with a pistol, Rich seemed ready to end Harry's adventure when Jones and his team finally arrived, shooting Rich to save the day. In the end, the movie shows Harry and the police managing to rescue CIA and dismantle the American Mafia's human trafficking scheme. Harry, exhausted but relieved, watches CIA return to Linda's arms, who was anxiously waiting for her daughter. Now, if I were in Harry's place, I might have thought twice before confronting Tom so soon. I could have played the patience game a bit longer to avoid a direct confrontation. However, Harry's quick action and protective instinct were crucial in saving CIA and the other girls. This story was inspired by a series of real-life investigations into human trafficking networks. Now, I want to know, how far would you go to save someone you love, even if it meant entering a dangerous world? Tell us in the comments if you have the courage. Stay safe, and see you next time.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect.